So I thought I would do a little recording here of my virtual Healthy Holidays workshop in case anybody wasn't able to attend live. So here it is. So today we're going to go over some tips on how to stay on track or maybe get on track with your health goals through the busy and stressful holiday season. And I'll be sharing some healthy holiday recipes that I curated and put together. So you'll, if you'd like a copy of that, definitely reach out and I can get that for you as well. All right, let's get going. Okay, so just a little bit about the class overview. We'll be going over some steps on how to make your holiday season happy and healthy. I'll give some examples of healthy holiday food swaps, some supplements that would be supportive, and then go over some of the recipes. All right. So for many people, the holidays are as stressful as they are fun. Starting off with Halloween and going all the way until New Year's, these months can be filled with special occasions, eating temptations, as well as family obligations. And many people will notice a downturn in their mood around the holidays. And if that's you, my hopes with this talk will help you rethink how to best manage the holidays so that you can be happy and healthy through the end of the year and beyond. So here I have 7 steps to a healthy holiday season. And the first step is setting that healthy foundation. This simply means how you are living and eating all the other months of the year. And I'll let me see if I can, probably won't be able to see this too much, but I have here the real food plate, which is a graphic that I created. And it's a great example of how we should be striving to set up our plate the majority of the time. It's kind of my version of the food pyramid, or the newer My Plate, if you will, but it's actually set up to promote health versus the less than stellar governmental guidelines with regards to health. If you know me, you'll come to realize that I don't align with any sort of governmental guidelines with regards to health. I align more with the traditional food principles, nutrition wisdom, which is nutrient dense, properly prepared, whole foods, not the store, that have really nourished generations of healthy people all over the world. And ultra processed foods have become so normalized that we really have forgotten the basics. So my perspective is it's not about restricting certain foods because they're bad, so to speak. It's about getting back to eating a whole food diet. Most foods people eat these days did not even exist 50 years ago. So the basic components of a whole foods diet are 1, being organic, 2, locally grown, 3, seasonal, 4, fresh, 5, with a balance of cooked and raw foods. And that's kind of what you're striving for. You don't be perfect all the time, but that's kind of the basic components right there. And really a whole presentation can be done on just that. So in the interest of time and to prevent me from going off on a tangent, we will keep moving. So having a healthy foundation in place really helps set you up for success. You know, the typical breakfast of sugary coffee, cereal, orange juice, that's really just a no-no. That type of breakfast is really going to put you on an up and down roller coaster with regards to your blood sugar. And if you're not quite there yet, best time to start is right now. So start your days off with a balanced, real food, nutrient-dense breakfast that is protein-based with good fats and natural carbohydrates. Starting the day off with balanced blood sugar really is key to staying steady throughout the day. Sleep is also another very important foundation. And if you're not getting adequate sleep, it's very detrimental to overall health. And if you are finding that you are having trouble getting to sleep or staying asleep, blood sugar issues may be a factor in that. So some tips for sleep would be to aim for 7+ hours each night, turning off electronics about an hour before bed, keeping your room dark and cool, sticking to the same sleep-wake cycle, avoiding caffeine several hours before bed is definitely a given, and get some sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning. This really is helpful at regulating our circadian rhythm. Now, I consider myself a realist nutrition therapist, meaning I'm not perfect all the time. And I don't want people to have this perspective that good health is only achievable by those with degrees or certifications in the field, because that's kind of ridiculous. With that said, I definitely want to be a good role model for others, and I definitely practice what I preach. but I also live by the 80-20 rule, which is a guide for your everyday eating. And its premise is that if you have enough of the right things, so all the nutrient dense foods, whole food supplements, your body can handle some of the wrong things, like processed, nutrient depleted foods. Now, more often than not, the stress over avoiding foods, followed by this guilt when you've overindulged, can actually be worse for your health than just eating the food itself. So, that 20% of the time is for when we go to social gatherings, birthday parties, holiday parties, things like that. And I do have a caveat with that, however. If you've just recently started on a health journey and there are certain foods that you really just can't tolerate, for example, gluten and dairy can be some pretty common ones, the 80-20 rule might not be the best to follow at this time. And for that reason, the recipes that I put together in the little ebook are free of most common allergens or really can be revised that way. So if that describes where you are in your health journey, the next step will likely resonate with you. And that's if you feel as though there won't be any sort of healthy options or food that you'll be able to eat wherever you're spending your holidays, get involved in the meal planning. You can call ahead to whoever is hosting and offer to make a dish to bring so that you know that you'll have at least one good option to have. Also, eat a nutritious snack or meal before heading out to the holiday gathering so you won't be hungry and tempted with all the treats all over. And bonus, the recipes that I have some healthy versions of some delicious treats that you can bring to share with everybody. So you can kind of show them that, hey, healthy eating doesn't have to be gross or boring. Next, make sure that you are staying hydrated. Important all the time, not just during the holidays. And a good rule of thumb to follow is to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. And some fun ideas to kind of jazz up your water in case drinking water is boring to you or off-putting. Give it some flavor by squeezing some lemon in it or maybe some other citrus, getting some slices of cucumber, even making some ice cubes with fruit or herbs in them. I really love freezing the mint grown in the garden and putting it into ice cubes to having it into whatever drinks for however long that I have it. Or just throwing some frozen fruit in the water. So as it melts, it'll kind of add some nice flavor to the water. Number 5, move your body. And it may be the last thing on your mind after eating, but walking can help both physically and emotionally. Walking after a meal can help aid digestion and even lower blood sugar levels, even just for a few minutes. So burn off some calories while getting out in nature, take advantage of those stress relieving endorphins, and also try to get in some yoga or other gentle exercises, light stretching, that sort of thing, just on a daily basis. Even lifting some weights. It doesn't have to be crazy, huge weights. Just getting a couple little arm weights or hand weights that you can do, just kind of build up some muscle resistance. Number 6, focus less on food, more on family and friends, right? So rather than stressing about the food, focus on the people that you're spending the holiday with and spending your time with. Hopefully, they're people that you don't mind being around, but truly strive to make the holidays about the people and creating those happy memories rather than just it being about food. And last but not least, I had to put something in there about practicing gratitude. I'm not perfect at it, believe me, but it's amazing how much shifts really when we focus on what we are grateful for versus being in that negative state. And it really allows more of what we want to come into our lives. So being thankful for the food that we have access to and being mindful and eating consciously does a world of good for our overall health. All right, so some healthy holiday food swap ideas. So instead of kind of your typical marshmallows, sweet potatoes, canned cranberry sauce, green bean casseroles, crappy dips with chips or crackers, the typical cocktails, baked ham, those sorts of things. Not that, you can't get good quality stuff like that, but try something instead, maybe some butternut squash with pure maple syrup for pecans. Fresh cranberry chutney, whole cranberries stewed in honey, fresh orange juice. Green beans, Brussels sprouts roasted in coconut oil, garlic, and balsamic. Hummus with fresh veggies. And mocktails with superfood ingredients, kombucha, wellness tonics, sparkling waters. There's so many different varieties of non-alcoholic beverages. So if it's, if you're a person that kind of needs something that's just more of that ritual type, switch it out for some of these mocktails or even ginger beer. I might be late to the ginger beer train, but that stuff is delicious. So, you can have a drink, feel like you're a part of everything, but meanwhile not, poisoning your body with alcohol. And I'm not saying, don't ever drink. I'm not saying that I have never had a drink or anything like that, but definitely you can switch them out and drink things that are actually good for your body, that have good ingredients for your body. There's some wellness tonics that are called sparkling botanicals, which are awesome. Superfood ingredients. There's a lot of different things that you can get with that. Just regular kombuchas. The wellness tonic. That's what I'm thinking of. Called Sunwink. Those are delicious, and they have adaptogens, herbs, a lot of good things for the body. So, tons of stuff out there that you can use for that. All right. Next, I want to talk a little bit about supplements. So the question that tends to come up quite a bit is, well, if I'm eating a healthy diet, do I really need to take supplements? And 1,000% yes. Okay, that's my answer. There was a time when someone could say that they eat healthy and therefore they don't need to take supplements, but unfortunately that time is long gone. And we're talking that may have been true 150 to 200 years ago. It's truly impossible to now eat a quote unquote healthy diet and not need supplements. And here's why. So, decreased nutrient supply. Most people are eating a poor diet with depleted soils, processed refined foods. And there's also the increased nutrient demand. So, stress, environmental pollution, and any illness increases our need for nutrients. So, most people are eating a poor diet. So, AKA the standard American diet, or SAD, and it really is sad. We're also living in a time of the greatest demand on the body. So, never before has humanity been exposed to this much man made toxins, which puts so much stress on the body. In addition, our soils are depleted of nutrients, and our food is only as healthy as the soil that it's grown in. So, the topsoil has decreased, meaning the food that we grow is very weak. And the amount of nutrition that you receive from eating a tomato 50 years ago is not at all what you are getting when you eat a tomato today. So all the pesticides, the herbicides, the fungicides, all used in conventional farming also disrupt the microbiome in the soil, and these organisms are needed to help facilitate the nutrient density of the food. So the less diversity in the soil and the less diversity of those microorganisms really means less diversity of nutrition, the nutrients in the food that we're eating. I really don't like to give blanket recommendations for supplements because everybody's different with different needs. So I really would prefer to work with individuals on targeted supplementation. But what I wanted to do for this talk is give a few specific suggestions that are, kind of tailored for holidays and that would benefit everybody to know about them. First one I want to go over are digestive enzymes. I am and have been a big proponent of digestive enzymes for everybody all the time. That's kind of one thing that I've always talked about, and I will give a blanket recommendation for that because as we age, the enzymes that we produce are lacking. And again, just most people's diets are made up of foods that are lacking in enzymes. And this is definitely true during the holidays. And, let's be honest, most people can definitely benefit from any sort of gut health support. And that's exactly what digestive enzymes are. So food intolerance can be caused by enzyme deficiencies and then lead to digestive discomfort, not only for adults, but kids as well. And there are a lot of different kinds of digestive enzymes out there, but I do have a few that I would recommend. And the one that is most readily available is from a company called Enzymedica. They have several different enzyme products with different formulas. One that I always really have and use is called Digest Spectrum, which is specialized support for gluten, phenol, lactose, and casein. It's a blend of enzymes that work synergistically to support individuals who experience digestive discomfort to those particular foods. So this one is especially good for anyone that's actually avoiding gluten or dairy, as it's really helpful for any sort of accidental exposures. They're usually available at most health food stores. I also have an online supplement dispensary where they can be purchased if that's something of interest to you. Another great option is called Zypan, and that's from a company called Standard Process. And this product facilitates healthy digestion by maintaining proper gastric pH, and it provides enzymatic support for protein digestion, which would be very helpful for kind of your typical main courses during the holiday. And that's one that the Standard Process Company only sells supplements through health professionals. So if that's something of interest to you, that's the company that I work with and use more strictly than anything else because they are such a high quality company and they've been around since the 1930s. So they are definitely got a long track record of high quality supplements. Next one I'll talk about is activated charcoal. And you might be familiar with activated charcoal being used for accidental poisonings, and typical in hospital settings. I always have some on hand just for that particular reason. There was even one time I had helped a neighbor's dog who actually got into some pretty bad stuff, and she was going downhill pretty quick until we gave her some charcoal, and then everything turned out okay. But so that's just kind of one instance where it's nice to have. I was very happy I was able to run home and grab that and kind of help things out. In general, charcoal is used for internal cleansing because it has lots of pores that can bind up unwanted materials, and then it safely carries it through the digestive tract. It has a high potential to absorb toxins, and it supports healthy elimination as well. Also, pro tip here, if you got a little carried away and drank a bit too much alcohol, taking some of the activated charcoal, taking a couple pills with a lot of water before bed can really help to ward off some of the unpleasant after effects of alcohol. Nothing guaranteed, so don't, use that as your crutch like, oh, hey, I can drink as much as I want, I'll just take some charcoal. No, it doesn't work like that. Just, kind of use it sparingly in that respect so that it kind of help you not be completely worthless the next day, right? So good to have on hand always, especially during the holidays. I don't have a particular brand that I would recommend with that, but you can find it at most health food stores or again through that online dispensary of mine. Now, last one I want to talk about are adaptogens. So, adaptogens are plants that help to enhance our body's ability to respond to stress and anxiety, fatigue, all these things that seem to get increased during the holidays, right? Basically, what they do is help the body to achieve homeostasis. And this is a state of balance among the body's systems that's needed to survive and function correctly. My favorite adaptogen is ashwagandha. It helps the body to adjust to stress and change in a healthy way. So, this herb has so many benefits from being an anti inflammatory, a tonic that helps to improve physical and mental stamina. It's immune modulating. It's a reproductive tonic in both men and women. It really, could have take 10 slides for itself here to really explain this herb in full, but really trying not to overwhelm with information here. So I'll leave it as saying that this herb is unique as both a calming tonic as well as an energizing tonic. And it has the ability to improve sleep if taken before bed, and it also helps to energize if taken in the morning. So definitely a good one to know about. And the brand that I would recommend for that is a company called MediHerb, which is actually the partner company to Standard Process. And again, if you're interested in purchasing anything through those two, just feel free to hit me up and ask questions about it. All right, so finally on to the recipes. So as it says here, failing to plan is planning to fail. It does take some time and effort beforehand, but it is definitely well worth it. And once you kind of get into the routine, it becomes second nature. So what you really want to be looking for when you're choosing your ingredients, choose organically grown, whole food, fresh ingredients whenever possible. And this kind of shows you the list here is kind of the components of a whole food diet. And I talked briefly a little bit about that before, but this is a little bit more detailed. So you're talking about chemical, hormone-free meat, grass-fed, pasture-raised. Local is always, kind of the number one if you can get it. Wild-caught fish, pasture-raised eggs, whole unrefined grains properly prepared. So like an example would be a sourdough bread. Unrefined natural sweeteners, honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar, dates, raw and cultured milk and cream. So hopefully you have um, a grass-fed raw dairy close by that you can get your milk and cream from, and real salt. And this is the brand that I would recommend with that, Redmond Real Salt. There's also something, I didn't put it on here, but a great seasoning is called Pluck, and it's actually made from organs. And former vegan here who still, is still inside me screaming when I eat meat, but I don't think I'm ever going to get to the point where I can eat organs, I don't know. It's regardless. I know a lot of people have issues with that as well. So there are ways to get that nutrition into the body, either through supplements. There are a lot of great, liver and other organ type meat supplements that you can take. I definitely have some information on that if you're interested. But there's one company called Pluck. It's a seasoning. It has a blend of organ meats in it, kidney, liver, spleen. I can't remember all of them, but it's also mixed with things like garlic and salt and pepper and other things, and it tastes really good. And so it's kind of an all-purpose seasoning that you can kind of sprinkle throughout anything and get some of that good nutrition in from the organs. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there as well. So even if you're not trying to avoid specific ingredients like, gluten per se, swaps that you can make on the typical food that you have at holiday meals could look as simple as using an organic all-purpose flour. Maybe getting a true sourdough bread to make your traditional stuffing with, opting for organic fruits and vegetables, using real butter from grass-fed cows, making cranberry sauce with real cranberries rather than dumping it out of the can where it holds the same shape as the can that it came out of, getting a pasture-raised turkey rather than a butterball, using fresh and dried herbs organically grown for your poultry seasoning. Bonus if they're from your home garden or a neighbor's. And instead of using refined sugar, making a dessert with a natural sweetener like honey or maple syrup. And a great guide to check out is called localharvest.org. Just put in your location and up comes all the farms, CSAs, farmers markets, farm stands, local food events, all things like that. So another thing to know about is something called the Dirty Dozen or Clean 15 list. And this is a shopper's guide to pesticides in food, and it's through the Environmental Working Group. And it'll give you a list of foods that have that are grown with the most pesticides and a list with the lowest. And it really helps with regards to kind of the overwhelm that some people might feel and thinking, oh my gosh, I have to buy everything organic all the time. It's like, well, this will really help you on the foods that really should be versus the ones that are okay to get non-organic. All right. And so like I said, let me just kind of read through the recipe. You can't see this because I can't screen share on this, unfortunately, but feel free to message me if you're interested in checking out the recipe book. I gave it all to the ones that were on the live workshop, but if you're interested in checking it out, just let me know. So I have appetizer ideas, main course, side ideas, desserts, drinks, and yeah, I mean, just a lot of really great things. I mean, so, I have veggie plates, fruit salads, charcuteries. I have recipes for an autumn salad with an orange vinaigrette. Throw some deviled eggs in there for appetizers. There's a simple cranberry sauce and Thanksgiving stuffing meatballs, as well as stuffed mushrooms appetizer recipe. For your main course, side dishes, butternut squash soup, lemon Brussels sprouts, acorn squash with wild rice stuffing is amazing. We have a great recipe for that. And then some desserts and drinks. I've got a pumpkin pie with a grain-free crust, some truffles, carrot cake bites, and then the alcohol alternatives that I was talking about before, ginger beer, kombucha, wellness tonics, all those sorts of things. So again, I've got tons of recipes here, and that's just, it's definitely not all that you can use. I've been seeing so many kind of food bloggers or people who have food accounts online sharing all of their Thanksgiving meals and tips and all sorts of things like that. I have quite a few that I follow specifically for recipes because even though I'm really good at curating recipes and creating meal plans, um, creating recipes from scratch, I have my on moments, but I really like to take what a lot of other people are doing and kind of put my own spin on it rather than just kind of creating it from scratch. So I follow a lot of different food accounts and I definitely have a lot of suggestions if you're interested in doing the same. So you can kind of create your menus and your meal plans and all that sort of thing. And just in general, if you want and need help with meal planning, definitely hit me up and we can do maybe a quick call just to kind of see if, my services would be right, we'd be a good fit, and to go further and work with. I work with people from all walks of life with a specific focus on families and children. So bumping up the nutrition any way that you can. It's always kind of been my specialty and helping you guide you through that. So if that's of interest, definitely hit me up. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much. Bye.